Good morning, viewers, subscribers, friends, anybody who is unfortunate enough to need information about prostate cancer. I had my PSA test done yesterday. It was the 1st of February. I think it's a very good rhythm to be in, doing it every time the 1st. And it is good news. It's not as good news as I wanted it to be, but my PSA dropped from 103.4 to 100.2. So I'm a smidge from being below 100 again. I would have loved to see it under 100, but I'm also have to be realistic. It could have been a status quo or it could have been worse. So all in all, I think actually things are working quite nicely. I was in Pattaya with my daughter for, what was that? Well, I was there in total about 5 days, and I was cheating on my diet. Yeah, you probably thought something else, didn't you? So I got chocolate, but other than that, I actually didn't do anything. I was got my sleep at 9 o'clock in the evening. I got my supplements. The only thing I didn't get was my DMSO. But other than that, then I actually kept my protocol all the way through, so I'm pretty proud about how that works. Yeah, so I think the chlorine dioxide is actually working quite nicely. It's a steady process, but like a friend of mine also said, as long as you can keep it as a status quo and you're feeling good, then it is something that is proven worth its value. But as it is right now, it is the 3rd time that I have my PSA lowered, and I am very confident that we will have a much better result next time. And that's because, well, maybe not much better. I am in the process of refining my cannabis oil. I think I mentioned that in another video. I have made it too thoroughly. So I have concluded that the reason why I didn't really see any interesting results while I was using it, it's because I cleaned it out too much. I need better quality terpenes. I need THCA and I need CBDA as well. And then I also need a higher ratio of CBD. There's been a lot of different fluctuations there. And it's a jungle. I don't really know where we are in that matter. Some say that it is the CBD that does the big difference. Some say it is the THC that does the difference. But what I'm going to do is going to make something like a 3:2 ratio of CBD to THC. But I'm this time going to have it with THCA and CBDA in it as well. And I'm going to make it with hydrocarbon extraction, so I'm going to have a process that does not include a lot of temperatures. In addition to that, I bought lab gear now, so when I'm selling my kindness is right up here behind me, which is planned to be sold on Monday or Tuesday, then I can afford the equipment so I can separate the terpenes from the THCA before I decarboxylate, meaning I'll have the highest possible quality of oils to be used in my treatment process. And that's what I'm really having my hopes up for. But now when I'm saying that, I also realize that I've just ordered the equipment, and it takes about a couple of weeks before it will arrive, which means from the time I get it until the time I get some products in my hand, we're probably at the end of February. February is a short month after this already, so we probably won't see the effect of that initiative until end of March. But I'm confident that continuing my protocols as it is right now is actually working in the right direction, and it is a combination of exercise and various supplements, my chlorine dioxide, and it is DMSO. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. When I started this adventure out a couple of years ago now, I was very stringent about not looking for information as to what my time frame is in terms of what my life expectancy. But recently I've been getting more and more curious about that, because While when I started out, I was really fumbling in blind. I had no idea about anything, and as I was moving along, I had to do the research, and sometimes I just um, chose certain supplements because I heard rumors that was good, and then as I was taking these supplements, I was doing the research. So it was not always doing research, concluding something, and then go for it. Sometimes I just had to wing it because I couldn't stall it until I got information. Uh, and that in turn means obviously I had no idea where it was. I was very confident in the beginning, in the end of 2023, that it would be cured totally in the beginning of 2024 because there was so much power in natural supplements. Obviously now here we are talking 2025 and I'm still not cured, and my PSA is still lower than my initial PSA, which is good, and I'm feeling fantastic, I'm feeling great, and I'm running faster than ever, I'm slimmed up, so everything is good, my whole blood work is good. That is positive, but that makes me curious to see what would oncologists have said to a person that comes in with a stage 3 spread to lymph node, metastases to lymph node, PSA at 124 and doing no treatment for 2 years. Where would they estimate me to be? Because I just read somebody in a support group answering a question to somebody, and he said that he had a PSA at 5 point something, and then it increased to 9 point something, and then it increased to 20 plus something. So he's got kind of a doubling process. Now I do not know or cannot remember the time frame by which this was happening, how quick the doubling process was, but he was 66 years old and he had a 5+4 Gleason score 9, the same as me. But being quite a bit older, it means that though it is an aggressive cancer with a Gleason 9, he's older, so he's got less testosterone probably, which means it is less dangerous to him than it was as for me being 53 when I was diagnosed. But he asked his oncologist how long would he live if he opted out of the official treatment. And the oncologist said that he would have 2 years, while the last year, 6 months of that period of 2 years would be in a lot of pain and agony. And that makes me think, as far as the oncologist goes, I haven't done anything because I haven't done anything in the official system. But I'm here almost 2 years after I had my first blood test done because I knew something was wrong. Now I'm saying this because that was in March 2023. I did not get the PSA at that time because I was not aware that that was the specific test that I needed, but I got the full blood work done back then because I knew something was wrong. But it was not until the 14th of August 2023 that I realized that it was the PSA I needed specifically, and that was when I got the 124. So it's pretty safe to say that when I got my first blood test in March 2023 that I've had prostate cancer by that time. I've had it for several years, I would say 5-6 years to reach a PSA number like that. When you're looking at what my diet was, when you're looking at what my exercise level was, then it had slowly progressed, meaning it must have been there for an extended period of time. So as we are here 2 years into the process and things are looking very good. Yes, I know people say you can't tell how good it is until you do your scans and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't think people, they do make treatments just to live longer. They also live, I hope, to feel better. And although that is very rare the case when you do official treatment, then that's where I am. And so I don't really need to do the scan so much. And as I've mentioned in other videos, if I got a little bit of money to spend, I'd rather spend them on enhancing my protocols and in turn mitigate this issue myself, rather than I want to see if I can get an answer to a question that I don't really need so much an answer to. Yes, I like to have a PSMA PET scan if it was safe, but having that radioactive stuff pumped in your veins, I'm not sure it's so healthy. But it could be fun to see if that metastasis from the lymph node is gone. You could also see if it's just a status quo, which I actually think it is. Which in turn would be a radical improvement, because if I 2 years ago had metastases and now 2 years later have no progression in that, that means for sure what I'm doing is very, very effective. But anyway, that's a long rant. It's many things to think about. It is a process, and it's a learning process, and it's a damn interesting learning process. So I'm starting hydrocarbon extraction, and I am, if I can find the adapter to do the vacuum seal of my tube today, and then I will start the process today. But I do not have the centrifuge, so I cannot do the separation. So I've decarboxylated the buds that I will need for the initial bit already. But even doing that way, I will still have higher quality than I had before, and that's really what's important. Anyway, it's not supposed to be a long video. Until next time, stay happy and healthy.